Absolutely. I think that's a terrific question because you're very aware of the demographic you'll be teaching to. There might be some small farm towns you end up in that maybe that's not true, but
That's where I am.
nonetheless, each student is individual. You're absolutely correct. So I think the best advice I can give for this would be understanding that even though instruction and assessment are very closely linked, like they're attached at the hip, they are not the same thing. So, and it also depends how hard and fast these objectives are. I mean, like if you're a teacher who's using high stakes testing, you're probably behind the times. Or if you see a teacher using high stakes testing, like some schools will make you write final exams. They'll make the students write final exams. So if that's your reality, you just have to go into that knowing that form of assessing has proven to have negative effects on learning. So that is something where you sort of have to manage the moral dilemma. But in your day-to-day teaching, I think it's super important to distinguish that assessment and instruction are connected, but they're very different, and instruction can be differentiated. So I think to answer your question, to acknowledge the diversity of students, but still grade everybody objectively, it starts with the instruction. So indicators, for example, they offer quite a bit of flexibility for differentiating instruction in the curriculum to allow students to arrive at the same standards. So paying close attention to those will definitely be to your benefit. Like I said to the last question, communication, ongoing, constant formative assessment is also very helpful because you can't diagnose student needs without knowing the learner and how they learn. So being very just cognizant of who your students are as people and how they learn as learners is tremendously important to catering to that diversity, like you said, and then instructing to it. And then your instruction allows them to arrive at the same assessment standards. So if you're wondering, okay, well, what do you mean by differentiated instruction? There are a bunch of tips in the curriculum. I'm sure you've already had a class covering differentiated instruction, but it can be as simple as like conversations with the student. It can be as simple as scaffolding bigger assignments. It might be offering an additional formative task to the students if time permits. It might be giving the student more time, something like that. Anything where you can just cater to the student's learning style, that will allow you to have them arrive at the same assessment standards. And then depending what that standard is, like if it's just to demonstrate that they know something, if it's not procedural, but rather they just have to demonstrate that they know something, well, it doesn't have to be an essay. They could tell it to you, they could present it to you, they could sing it to you for all you know, like for all you care. As long as they're delivering that information that you need. If they have to show you how to do something, then that's a little bit different story. But I think that differentiating instruction is a good way to arrive at that the same assessment standards.